One of the best features of any Tesla vehicle is the Tesla app itself. Now, a lot of people may think this is simply the phone key, because from some brands you can have a vehicle app that just operates as the phone key. Now, of course, that is one of the primary functions of this app, but it also has a ton of other stuff that you can do. It actually has so much that many people don't know all of the features that it has, and maybe don't know how to best take advantage of it. So that's what we're getting into today. I'm going to break down all of my top tips and tricks for the Tesla app specifically that you can take advantage of for any Tesla vehicle that you have, especially the new ones. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to EV Dance for sponsoring this video. So first things first, when it comes to the Tesla app, a lot of features are the same across iOS and Android devices, but some features are iOS exclusive. Usually new features will launch first on the iOS app and then come later to Android devices, but I will be using an iPhone today. So with that in mind, the first thing to do is to add a Tesla app widget to your home screen. The cool thing is that this widget exists both on your home screen, and then you can also add it to your lock screen. So the way that you do this is just tap and hold in the middle of your screen, and you click Edit, Add Widget, then you search for Tesla, and from there you will see 4 different widget options. There are basically 2 different types of widgets in 2 different sizes. So you have this type of widget right here, small, then you have the one with the controls, and then you have 2 versions of that for home status if you have solar or power walls. So I'll go ahead and click Add Widget on this smaller one here. And we can see here that this is added to my home screen. So basically these are just 2 different versions of the same widget. This one will give you updates. You can see charge percentage. You can see if it's locked or unlocked, the location that Sentry mode is on and such. But then the one below it has those additional controls. I personally like to have this both on my lock screen and my main home screen. This allows you to tap those controls and have them react with just one click. But then, of course, it does open up the app from there. So here, if I want to lock my car, I just press that button and it proceeds to lock. But of course, it launched the app in that process, as you can see. And that brings us to the home screen here. On the Tesla home screen at the top, there is a lot of information. So again, this is this Model Y that I'm showing you right here. And at the top, you can see charge percentage, 72%. If you go ahead and tap right on that 72%, it will change it over to a mileage prediction. You can tap that back, and that also changes within the car itself. Then you'll see that that row of icons right there is totally customizable, and this changes the icons that show up on that widget. So basically just tap and hold on one of them, and then here this whole menu will pop up that allows you to customize. So let's say instead of charge port open, I want to be able to vent the windows. Just drag that over on top of it and it replaces it. Now let's say I want to put that one back for the charge port. I'm going to go do that, but there is a way that you can add a 5th icon here. You basically just drag a 5th control over to the right of the screen. It is sometimes a little hard to get, but let me see if I can do it first try here. Drag it over there. So now it's just trying to replace the one on the right, as you can see. But if I catch this spot just at the very right corner, there we go. And so there are now 5 across right there. When I click out of this, I now have 5 controls. And then when I go to my home screen, there are now 5 controls there. As you can see on the home screen as well, you have control over the media that is playing in your car. So I'm going to turn down my volume so I don't get a copyright here, but I can click play and that has resumed the music in my car. Pause, and you can also change volume here as well. Now, there are these alerts that will pop up here, like live camera and view recent clips. That's for Sentry mode to show you that that is available. But if you want to access Sentry mode aside from this, you just scroll down to security and drivers, and Sentry mode pops up right there. You can click view live camera. It's not letting me because I'm actually in the car right now. But then at the top there, you can also view dash cam clips. This combines both Sentry mode and dash cam clips all into that tab that says all. But sometimes you might notice that those alerts at the top are actually some sort of kind of advertisement for Tesla. Maybe they're telling you you can use your referral link to refer people. It's just annoying and taking up space there. Well, what you can do is just swipe these away at any time. So I have a couple of them sitting here for the Cybertruck, a recent appointment card, and then a release notes card. And I just swipe over that and it will disappear. That's very good to know because sometimes people are annoyed that something has popped up there and it's kind of blocking the controls that they want to access, and that's how you get rid of it. In the case of live camera, since it's on, that will live there and you can't actually swipe that one away. What you will notice when you click on live camera though is that you have access to a feed that shows you all 4 cameras around the car. You can also go straight for the interior camera if no one is inside. You can also choose the individual cameras one by one. You can honk the horn, flash the lights, fart, or even talk through the car. But now let's check out the controls menu. On here you have basic controls like locking and unlocking, opening the front trunk, and then opening and closing the rear trunk. Of course, I think many people are used to this one by now. Press that, that's going to open up behind me. And then go ahead and close that. That is going to proceed and close behind me. You can also open up the charge port from here if you want by tapping that. And then at the top right, by tapping PSI, that shows you your most recent PSI, and it will even show you a timestamp associated with it. You also have controls like start the car, vent the windows, which is this, where it vents them all about an inch, and then you can close them. You can start the car, which is a very useful feature because this essentially gives 2 minutes for anyone to get into the car and then drive it without having to have the key. So let's say you go to a valet and you realize you forgot your key card. This is a way that they could still pick up your car or drive it without you having to give them your phone or something like that. You just press start and then it will say active and it counts down from 2 minutes right there. So those are the controls that will be there for the Model Y, but for other Tesla vehicles, there are more. So here's the Cybertruck, and I click controls, and you'll see that there are extra controls that I have right here. You can see I can raise and lower it on the top left there. I can open and close the tonneau cover and be specific about it. I can turn on the outlets, and then I can swipe up right here and see a lot of those individual things. I can change the bed lights brightness, adjust ride height, Cybertemp mode, power outlets, power share home backup, and then choose a discharge limit for power share. Similarly, tap PSI and you'll get that. Next, we have the climate menu, and there's plenty that you can do here. The first thing that you'll notice is you can tap these seats individually to turn on heat, or you can tap it again and switch over to cool, or put it on auto, and auto will respond to the temperature automatically that you're setting. I'll go ahead and turn off my heated steering wheel here, maybe put my cooled seat on 1. I can turn down the temperature, vent the windows, again, same control that we have elsewhere in the app. And then I can pull up here for a decent amount of more controls. Defrost mode, bioweapon defense mode, camp mode, dog mode, and then cabin overheat protection. Essentially, this is where you would dial in your temperature ahead of time if you're preconditioning the car. But let's say that you just want to precondition it with one tap. That's what will happen automatically when you press that climate icon on the home screen. So I'll go ahead and turn off the climate right now by tapping that, and I'll lock the car. Then back home, you'll see that this app will update in just a minute. Now it is updated to show me that the climate is not running, but let's say it's very cold outside. I press the climate button, and it's basically just going to set the climate to what I most recently had it at in the car. So if that was 72 degrees, it's going to warm up to 72 degrees. If it's suddenly very hot outside, it's going to cool down to 72 degrees. So it does it all automatically by just tapping once right there, and now my climate is on. I find this feature to be extremely useful for 2 reasons. Of course, it's nice to get into your car and already have the temperature that you want, but also you'll get into a quiet car. If you preconditioned this ahead of time, the AC might have been blasting for a couple of minutes when you were not in the car, and then you get in and it's nice and cool and nice and quiet. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, EV-Dance. EV-Dance is a leading provider of EV extension cables and an expert in solving charging distance challenges and delivering reliable charging solutions. This 40-foot extension cable has made my life so much easier by allowing me to charge at busy EV chargers. I have a long, narrow driveway and multiple cars, so in order to charge, I usually have to shuffle my vehicles around to park close enough for the cable to reach. Now though, I can just pull in and it will always reach. I can even charge all the way from the street. This isn't just any extension cable though, it's built to withstand the elements. It's waterproof, dustproof, and reliable in extremely cold weather down to negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit. EV-Dance is now offering a level 2 charger for even more charging convenience. It features app control for monitoring and scheduling charging, as well as ETL certification for added safety and reliability. To check out these extremely useful products for yourself, visit evdances.com or click the link in the description below. For Black Friday, you can get 25% off and a free charging adapter with the purchase of any charger or extension cable. That's an incredible deal, so take advantage while you can. Next up here we have the location tab, and this is one of those tabs that Tesla has updated a ton over the years. If you're a seasoned Tesla veteran here, you might actually not really use this tab all that much and just kind of see it sitting there or note your address. But when you open this, there's a ton to do in here now. You can swipe up and you can see recent destinations that you searched for within the app itself. Then you can click charging and you can see nearby charging stops. There are obviously a lot nearby for me, and you can sort these by distance, availability, and price. You can choose the 3 lightning bolts there for the top speed, or if you specifically want to choose slower chargers, you can rule those out just like this. I'll go back to fast chargers specifically, and then there's even more criteria that you can add right here. You can make sure that you include amenities with these chargers, like let's say you definitely want restrooms and definitely want restaurants for your supercharging stop. I'm going to apply those filters and see where I can go nearby. It has narrowed down my list, and what's very cool is from here, let's say I want to go to this charger, because there's 29, actually 38 available now. Oh, look at that, that's the Tesla Diner. Now I'll just click Navigate, and that has mapped it out, showed me how long it's going to take, what percentage I'll arrive at, and then I can click Send to Car. Right away that popped up inside my vehicle, but if I'm doing a longer trip here, I can do all of the work ahead of time to organize charge stops, organize all of my stops within the app, and then send that entire navigation route to my car. So let's say I want to stop at the Tesla Diner, but I'm going to edit the trip and click Add Stop. I want to go to San Francisco after that. Just a casual 6-7 hour drive to San Francisco. Click Done. Now it's going to show me this whole route, including all of these charge stops. And the one thing I will say here that I wish was more refined is that you could actually refine these charge stops. For now, I've of course chosen this first supercharger as one of my destinations. So that is going to be determined and is for sure going to route me there. But these other charge stops are what it's automatically determining, so I can't actually edit those specifically. But let's say I'm happy with this route, send to the car, and all of that with all of those steps is showing up on my screen. On this screen as well, you can see the current location of your car, of course. You can also look at satellite view instead, and then pop up that charger view to just view chargers around your area. Next up, if you have the full self-driving package, will be Summon. Now this is what Tesla calls actually Smart Summon today, but I would still argue it's not actually fully as good as we want it to be. It still has flaws and still can be buggy and frustrating to use at times, to the point where I barely even use it. But some people do have great success with Summon, and here's how it works. When it comes to Smart Summon, I can actually choose a target here. So I'm just going to choose across here, click Go to Target. And again, I have to press and hold this whole time, but the car is going to attempt to go to this target. And overall, I mean, it's doing a pretty good job. It's going to round this corner. It's basically just using the full self-driving system at this point. As we can see, it says Summon Complete, and then I'm going to bring it back to me. So I'm going to set the target as my current location. Click Go to Target. And the car's figuring out its route, and then going to come back to me. Summon Complete. Next we have the Charging tab. When you click into charging, it of course will show you your current percentage. But this is also where you can refine things like set your charge limit. Let's say you're going on a road trip. You want to put this up to 100% for your next charge. This is where you can do that away from the car. You can also do that by just swiping up here. And if you click the Charge tab, this will pop up a little version of this window right here on the home screen. And you can do the same thing. You can also dial in what amps you want it to charge at. Let's say your charger is rated a certain amount, but for some reason it keeps tripping the breaker, or you just want to draw power a little slower from it. This is where you can dial that in. You can also close the charge port or open the charge port from this menu, depending on if it's open or closed, of course. You can find chargers, view your charge stats, which will show you monthly and yearly how much you have charged at home specifically. We can see that I've spent about $93 charging at home over the last 31 days, and I've charged for 285 kilowatt hours with no supercharging. It estimates that I've saved about $77 on gas. Here's what my year view looks like: 1,443 kilowatt hours charged on this car specifically. And that's really only about half the year because this car is fairly new. You can also dial this in specifically if you want to get really refined by going to the menu that says Set Charging Costs. And this, when you continue through it, will actually allow you to choose your specific plan. For me, I have the time of use Prime plan through SoCal Edison, so I'm going to click Continue, and now that has been saved. For now, I don't charge at work or other locations really, aside from superchargers, so I'm just going to click Save right here. Now it has updated my math to show me that I've actually only spent about $59 and I've saved about $111 in gas over the last 31 days. That updated because I have charged off-peak specifically only. So it's definitely worth adding in your specific rate plan if you can. From this menu, you can also set charge schedules. So let's say you want to make sure that this only charges off-peak. You can set that here and make sure it automatically does that. And then you can manage your payment method specifically that they have on file for supercharging. All the way at the bottom, it will show your last charge, and you can see details and even rate the charge session. And then you'll see a new option for low power mode. This is new to the Tesla app that you can turn this on. And it says disables energy consuming features when you are not in the vehicle. Here you can see a breakdown of everything that this includes. And it will turn off Sentry mode, it will turn off the keep accessory power on option, and all of these other things if you turn this on. Now, we did see some schedules in the charging menu itself, but there's also a separate set schedules menu right here. And as you'll see, the set schedules are empty because it's for a specific location, which is where I'm parked right now. But you can tap right here and instead choose home or work, assuming you have those programmed in. Let's see what I have at home. We can see 9 p.m. to 4 p.m. because those are my off-peak hours specifically. I could also schedule preconditioning or a Tesla light show. Now, I showed you a little bit of this menu before, but the security and drivers menu has a lot of stuff to it. The dash cam viewer, of course, is right there, and you can view all previous clips that have been taken with dash cam or Sentry mode. Below that, you can turn on Sentry mode and view the live cameras. Then you can turn on valet mode. Essentially, valet mode limits the performance of the car and then locks certain areas of the car as well. And you can make sure that this has a pin assigned to it so that nobody can turn it off. Then there are parental controls that you can turn on, and you have specific features here. You can limit the speed to as low as 50 miles per hour. Of course, you'd only want to do this if they're not getting on the freeway. And then you can require safety features, send curfew notifications, and reduce acceleration, only allowing chill mode. Speed limit mode is kind of one version of that, and you can set a specific speed limit. And then pin to drive is something that a lot of people actually love to use because that's kind of like two-factor authentication. Right now, technically, if someone were to steal my phone and then run to my car, they could also steal my car. If they took the key card from my wallet, they could also steal my car with that. Of course, I could still access the Tesla app from another device and track my car and whatnot, but a second level of security here is to add a PIN. So I'm going to click pin to drive, and now next time I go to drive the car, it's going to require a PIN. So even if someone takes my phone, if they take the key card, they will get in the car and then realize they can't actually drive it because they don't know that 4-digit PIN. From this menu is where you'll also handle all of your keys. So you can see phone key is turned on. You can add a key card, and it will walk you through that step specific to your vehicle. You can set up Bluetooth audio, and then you can add other drivers. You'll see that when you click Add Driver right here, it says Create Invitation. This will generate an invite to access the vehicle. You click Create, and then you can send this to anyone. It's a super easy way to essentially give someone the keys to your car. But then, of course, they get all of these additional features that we're talking about today. Now, a quick tip for the Tesla phone key, basically just never close the Tesla app in the background. Keeping it always on in the background will ensure that it's always working when you walk up to your car and works flawlessly. In years past, I would have issues with this, even when I had the app still open in the background, but it's gotten really good as of late, especially with the newest cars and newest phones. Tesla will also let you know, assuming you have notifications on, when you close the app, it will say to keep it running in the background for the best phone key experience. Another place that you can add drivers or manage them as well is at the bottom of this screen. You can tap Manage Drivers right there. Here we can see that pending invite that I just created. I'll go ahead and cancel that. But if I have other drivers right here, I can remove them or I can transfer ownership from here as well. That's of course if I were to be selling the car. Next to that is specs and warranty, and we can see the specs for this particular car. And then the warranty details, including when exactly it will expire for each part of the vehicle. Basic vehicle limited warranty, battery limited warranty, and drive unit limited warranty. But back up a few options in the app, you have the Upgrades tab. You'll have software upgrades, accessories, service plans, and installable upgrades. Software upgrades are things like full self-driving. But right now I have full self-driving on this car, so you can see that subscribe is not an option, but buy is an option, because it's $8,000 if I were to buy that package outright. Another thing you'll usually see here is premium connectivity for $9.99 per month, although it is worth looking into that a little bit deeper, because depending on where you sign up, I think it may have to be within the car itself on that upgrades tab. You can get this for $99 a year, which actually saves you about 20 bucks a year. Accessories, of course, will take you to the Tesla shop. There's not too much special about the Tesla shop in the app itself. It's basically just the same Tesla shop that you would see online with all of the accessories that they sell. including floor mats and coolers and air mattresses and wraps, all of this stuff. And then depending on what state you're in, you may see the safety score beta. Right here, I'm curious to see mine. I'm at 90%. Hard braking is 1%. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this most recent hard braking is from full self-driving itself. Also, looking at this unsafe following, it's all very recent as well, probably from the most recent full self-driving version, because I have been using it a lot and I've noticed both of those things from this. But the safety score is what does impact Tesla insurance rates in states that have that real-time insurance rate. Even if you don't have it, like in California where we have normal Tesla insurance, it is interesting to see what the car is recognizing. Yeah, actually, as you can see here, I have driven 95% on full self-driving, 834 miles over the last month, and total miles is 875. Now the service menu is another one of those that has been updated to the point where you might actually want to use it. In the past, if you didn't need service, you probably just never went to this tab. But now it actually has info for you. You can see this battery health tab, and it will give you a quick reading of your battery health and tell you if it's good. You have access to guides here, the owner's manual. There's also the tire center where you can proceed with buying individual or full sets of tires for your car specifically. You can also see the history of your appointments and then ask a question. This brings up Tesla's AI assistant, where you can ask certain questions about your car. Then one nice thing you will see here is that if there's anything maintenance-wise that is automatically popping up within your car, and when you click Request Service, it will pop up at the top there as one of those issues to get solved. For instance, on one of my other cars, it popped up on screen to tell me I need a front camera cleaning, and it's complimentary. So I proceeded through to the Tesla app and scheduled the appointment by tapping on that specific issue. Then the last tab here is Tesla Roadside Assistance, where you can request roadside assistance for a flat tire, accident assistance, drivability concerns, battery and charging issues, and other. You specify which tire is having the issue, if it does, and this is convenient, but at the same time, when you're stuck on the side of the road, proceeding through an app like this usually isn't the most exciting thing to do. You just kind of want to get on the phone and get moving. Now back to the top of the home screen. My current car is called Quicksilver, but let's say I want to change the name. Just tap and hold on that, and this is where I can type in a brand new name for my car. On top of that, if you own multiple Tesla vehicles, you simply swipe between them on the app, just like that. Another way to do this is by tapping on Quicksilver at the top there, and it will give you a breakdown of all of your Tesla products. Now the last things to dial in on the Tesla app can be accessed at the top right there by tapping on those three lines. You tap that, and then you'll see your info right there. Here's my name and account info if I want to customize this or customize my image right there. Of course, I can click edit right there. Then this is where I can dial in personal information, notifications, wallet, order history, security and privacy, driver profile, and then decide if I want to sync my calendar with my car specifically. This is one of those things that is kind of hidden. So if you haven't had this on, it's all the way down into this menu that you'll find it where you can turn on the calendar and then your events will start popping up on screen on your car, and it will actually start navigating you to certain events automatically. My big complaint is that this is global, so your calendar will sync to any car that you own and any car that is in your account, so I have this off because I do rent cars out on Turo. Below that, you have options for charging, which you can also dial in the charging menu itself. You have all of the details for Tesla insurance if you're a Tesla insurance customer, and then you can see your products and add products to that if you've bought something new. Usually a used product needs to be added this way. Then to finish up, you have Refer and Earn, and when you tap this, you'll see that you can earn up to $500 for each new owner you refer to Tesla, usable across the ecosystem. And this can be redeemed for new vehicle purchases, software upgrades, and more. Lastly, if you're trying to charge a non-Tesla EV, it's kind of in the last place in this app that you would do that. You click Charge Your Other EV, and then you can see chargers nearby, but then you need to add your specific vehicle details. This is a great new feature that they've added, and I'm very excited that Tesla has been supporting a lot more automakers this way. So that's a full breakdown of the Tesla app, and I hope it was helpful for you. There are a lot of individual tips and tricks in there that some people don't know about, and maybe hidden controls that you should have on or off. So I hope you learned something by watching this video. In the meantime, if you want to see the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.